It's December 13th, 2001. Behind me, the quiet Waihi mining town goes to sleep blissfully unaware that something quite spectacular is going to happen throughout the night. One house and all its contents are going to completely vanish. This is the story about Waihi and the house that disappeared. Waihi is a small town with a population of approximately 4,700 in the Hauraki district in the North Island of New Zealand. It's particularly prominent for its history as a gold mining town. It's at the foot of the Coromandel Peninsula and can be considered the gateway to the nearby beach havens of Waihi Beach and Whangamata. The town itself grew around mining operations after gold was discovered in 1878 by prospectors John McCombie and Robert Lee, eventually leading to the opening of the Martha Mine, which ultimately grew to be one of the most important gold and silver mines in the world. The mine was closed in 1952, but then reopened in the 1980s as an open pit operation. There are approximately 175 kilometres of horizontal tunnels, or drives, radiating out from the mine under parts of the town of Waihi and the surrounding areas. But little did the residents of Waihi realise that one of these old mine shafts had become unstable, and a shocking event was about to unfold that would capture a nation.
Dramatic escape when the earth swallowed their house.
The ground above old mine shafts gave way without warning just after midnight. 3 children were plucked from the wreckage of their home in the small mining town of Waihi.
So I'm sitting in the site of the subsidence, roughly. Now, it's all been backfilled now, so it's safe, but let's go back and just imagine the night of December 13th, 2001. George Cortese was asleep in his bed, awoken just after midnight by the sound of a bit of a disturbance and fire engines outside his house. Now, when George walked outside, what he saw, or perhaps didn't see, was that a giant sinkhole about 50 metres across and 15 metres wide had opened up over an old mine shaft on Barry Road and had completely swallowed his neighbour's house, contents, cars, caravan and people.
3 children were in the house when it collapsed just after midnight. They were pulled out safely by the mine rescue team. The collapsed house is on Barry Road near the Martha Mine.
When Shane, the other fireman that actually went into the house, when he carried that kid out, it's like, there's nothing wrong with the kid. It's amazing.
Steve Kilgour, his partner Barbie and their 3 children, they were miraculously able to walk away with their lives as the house literally fell in the hole as they slept. Now imagine, if you will, for a moment, a 15-metre deep hole. And to give you an idea of how deep a 15-metre hole is, think about your diving board at the local pool being 10 metres. It's bloody high. Now imagine another 5 metres on top of that. That's how far the house fell all the way into the hole.
Is it still a case of watch and wait for the authorities there in regard to the other houses in danger?
Well, it is really, Kate, because you see, no one really knows how far this thing is going to go. There's been a lot of rain, as we all know, lately, and but you know, we just don't know. There are engineers poring over the scene, but the police tell me that they think they've got the area stabilised. They don't think anything else will happen, but you know, when something as unusual as this happens, you can't count anything out, really, can you? So it's watch and wait.
What do you guys remember of that night?
I remember going like this on my bed. My leg was stuck and I was yelling out. I could hear Zoe in the room and she was saying that she had all heaps of wood on her. Yeah. He was helping me and he couldn't see me because I was standing up. Yeah, I just used my watch to see where I was going because it had a light. My leg was getting tight and I was forcing it out. That's why I've got heaps of scratches.
And what do you remember?
I remember nearly being squashed. And I seen a light outside. Then a man came and helped me out.
As a result of the sinkhole, some 26 people and 13 neighbouring properties were all evacuated and were never able to return to their homes. The mine bought back all the land and the people were eventually compensated for their loss. You might be wondering, whose fault is this? I mean, houses shouldn't just fall into the ground, right? Well, no real legal fault could be found. This mine was a mine from the early 20th century, which had just basically sort of laid here dormant. Now, over the next 5 years, the mine eventually bought back another 31 properties as they were deemed to be medium or too high risk of another subsidence. So I'm standing in front of the Martha mine as it's viewed today. Now you can see there's a massive slip there which took place in 2016, so this mine, the open mine, is not actually used for mining anymore. Now, I managed to track down an eyewitness from the day of the sinkhole. She was basically at this fence during the day, fencing. At the fence, she happened to look down and she noticed a digger smashing against the wall of the mine. But then she did notice water started trickling out of a crack that had appeared in the side of the wall of the mine. This water, she said, then turned into a stream, which turned into a river of water pouring out into the mine and around the digger. Now, she noticed that the digger driver went and got someone else. Next thing, there was a whole lot of people there making a bit of a scene. At this time, this is when she left and went home for the day. But that night was the night of the sinkhole. And reflecting on that over the coming weeks, she realized, was there a connection? The spot where she saw the digger was the nearest point of the mine to where the sinkhole took place, only a couple hundred meters away. Now, did the water drain out of an old drive and then down into the mine, which then caused it to collapse? No one really knows, and it's all speculation. So I guess the real question is, what are the chances this is going to happen again? Well, there are literally hundreds of kilometres of mines underneath the town of Waihi. But that's not to fear. In the near 150 years since mining's been in operation, there's been less than a handful of sinkholes, and they've all been right around the mine. That's not to say it's impossible. Let's just say it's improbable. Now today, Waihi's a bustling little tourist town, and thousands of visitors stop here every year to see the mine and the history around it. But I would say, if you do go for a walk, make sure you don't venture too far off the track, because perhaps it could be you that ends up the one with the sinking feeling.